mascots Wenlock and Mandeville welcome you to London, host city of the 2012 Summer Olympic and Paralympic Games. The London Olympic Games will feature 26 sports, which break down into 39 disciplines. Athletes representing 205 nations will compete from July 27th through August 12th in archery, athletics or track and field, badminton, basketball, beach volleyball, boxing, canoeing, cycling, equestrian, fencing, football, gymnastics, handball, hockey, judo, modern pentathlon, rowing, sailing, shooting, swimming, synchronized swimming, table tennis, taekwondo, tennis, triathlon, volleyball, water polo, weightlifting, and wrestling. From August 29th through September 9th, athletes from the 147 nations will take part in the Paralympic Games, competing in 20 sports that include Paralympic archery, Paralympic athletics, boccia, which is similar to bocce, Paralympic cycling, Paralympic equestrian, football 5-a-side and 7-a-side, goalball, Paralympic judo, powerlifting, Paralympic rowing, Paralympic sailing, Paralympic shooting, Paralympic swimming, Paralympic table tennis, sitting volleyball, wheelchair basketball, wheelchair fencing, wheelchair rugby, and wheelchair tennis. This is the third time that London has hosted the Olympic Games, having hosted the Games in 1908 and again in 1948. London is the first summer host city to embed sustainability in its planning from the beginning. The goal is to set new standards, creating positive, lasting change for the environment and communities. Sustainability is far more than being green, although protecting the environment is a large part of the idea. The idea is based on the WWF bioregional concept of One Planet Living, which is designed to help communities live within the world's resources instead of using the equivalent of 3 planets' worth of resources, as is currently the norm in the United Kingdom. The idea of sustainability has been incorporated into the way citizens of London plan, build and work, buy, play, socialize, and travel. The plan is to use the Games as a catalyst for change, for the regeneration and improvement of the quality of life in East London, as well as for more sustainable living across the United Kingdom. In the bid to host the 2012 Summer Games, the London Committee embedded the plan for sustainability, known as Towards a One Planet 2012, and committed to use venues that already exist in the United Kingdom where possible, only to make permanent structures that will have long-term use after the Games are over, and to build temporary structures for everything else. The sustainability plan focuses on 5 key themes. Climate change, minimizing greenhouse gas emissions and ensuring that legacy facilities are able to cope with the impacts of climate change. Waste, minimizing waste at every stage of the project, ensuring that no waste is sent to landfill during the Games, and encouraging the development of a new waste processing infrastructure in East London. Biodiversity, minimizing the impact of the Games on wildlife and their habitats in and around the game venues, leaving a legacy of enhanced habitats where possible, for example, the Olympic Park. Inclusion, promoting access for all and celebrating the diversity of London and the United Kingdom, creating new employment, training, and business opportunities. Healthy living, inspiring people across the country to take up sport and develop active, healthy, and sustainable lifestyles. The area around Olympic Park is currently being transformed in line with the sustainability guidelines in preparation for the Games. To ensure that these promises are being kept, the committee has reported on progress to date each year since transformation for the 2012 Games began in 2008. In addition, the Commission for a Sustainable London 2012 was created to monitor the committee and report back to the public. LOCOG, the first Games Organizing Committee to be certified to the British Standard 8901, Specification for a Sustainability Management Systems for Events, has published sustainability guidelines for corporate and public events. A key aspect to these guidelines, to the overall approach to the Olympic Games, is to ensure that they only use or hire what is needed. The London 2012 Games are the catalyst for transforming 2.5 square kilometers of land in East London. What was once industrial, contaminated land has been rapidly transformed over the last few years in the following ways. The Olympic Park creates a green backdrop for the Games and a new green space after 2012 for people and wildlife living in and around the area to enjoy. The southern part of the park focuses on retaining the festival atmosphere of the Games, with riverside gardens, markets, events, cafes, and bars. The northern area uses the latest green techniques to manage flood and rainwater, while providing quieter public space and habitats for hundreds of existing and rare species, from kingfishers to otters. Planting was completed in the Olympic Park in November 2011. About 250 acres of new parklands has been created from former industrial land by the Olympic Delivery Authority, providing a colorful atmosphere for the 2012 Games and beyond. These Olympic parklands contain 4,000 semi-mature trees, over 300,000 wetland plants, and more than 10 football fields worth of nectar-rich annual and perennial meadows designed and sown to flower during the London 2012 Games. A Riverside London 2012 garden stretches for a half a mile between the Aquatic Center and Olympic Stadium, featuring 120,000 plants from 250 different species across the world, arranged by temperate regions. The parklands area will also become a haven for wildlife and plants, with new habitats created for species including otter, kingfisher, gray heron, and water vole. The trees have been carefully selected to ensure that they are future-proof against climate change. They are mostly native species such as ash, alder, willow, birch, hazel, cherry, and poplar, London plane, and lime. The Olympic parklands have been designed to be highly accessible. The gradients of the paths are accessible to everyone, and views will be maintained of the new venues and landmarks in the surrounding area. Henman Hills has also been designed so that visitors to the park during the Games are able to watch live action on large screens. The Olympic Delivery Authority started work on the village in June 2008. In January 2012, it was handed over to the London 2012 Organizing Committee for overlay work to get it ready for Games time. 2,818 new apartments have been built in 11 residential plots, complete with spacious courtyards, gardens, and balconies. During the Games, the Olympic and Paralympic Village will comprise residential apartments for thousands of athletes and officials, along with shops, restaurants, medical, media, and leisure facilities. The village also includes a village plaza where athletes can meet with friends and family. The plan retains London's tradition of building homes around communal squares and courtyards, with water features accentuating the closeness of the River Lee. Athletes will have a view over the park in apartments with comfortable accommodation and state-of-the-art communications facilities, including internet access and wireless networking. All the apartment blocks will be fully accessible and equipped with modern elevators. Athletes will have easy access to the travel and leisure facilities of the adjacent Stratford City complex, and the high-speed 1 Javelin shuttle service will link the village to central London in just 7 minutes. During the Games, the village will include back-of-house operations and services for athletes such as catering and transport. The majority of these will be accommodated in temporary structures on sites that can be cleared for development immediately after the Games. After the Games, the Olympic and Paralympic Village will be converted into 2,800 new homes in East London. The communities will be developed in the area after the Games, will be supported by new parks, open space, transport links, and community facilities and schools. Now that you have seen what will happen to the Olympic Village and Park after the Games, let's take a look at the venues where the Games will take place. The Copper Box, which will host handball and goalball during the Games, is covered with almost 3,000 square meters of copper cladding. Most of it is recycled. Earls Court will host the Olympic volleyball competition. Eton Dorney is the venue for the rowing, canoe sprint, and Paralympic rowing. Eton Manor will host the wheelchair tennis competition. Excel will host 13 different sports, made up of 143 different sessions. Greenwich Park will host the equestrian, Paralympic equestrian, and modern pentathlon competitions. Hadley Farm will host the women's mountain bike competition on August 11th and the men's on August 12th. Hampton Park, Millennium Stadium, Trafford, St. James Park, and Wembley are the 5 regional venues hosting the London 2012 Olympic football tournament. Wembley will host selected matches, including the men's and women's finals. Historic Hampton Court Palace will host the Olympic road cycling time trial. The beach volleyball competition will be played out on the Prime Minister's doorstep in the heart of London. Hyde Park will host the marathon swimming 10-kilometer and the triathlon events. Home to the canoe slalom competition, Lee Valley Whitewater Centre was the only new London 2012 venue to open to the public before the Games. The home of English cricket, Lords will host archery during the London Olympic Games. The Mall will host the Olympic Marathon and Cycling Road Race and the Paralympic Marathon. North Greenwich Arena will host basketball and artistic and trampoline gymnastics. During the Paralympics, it will host some of the wheelchair basketball competition. The brand new Olympic Stadium will come to life this summer with the athletics and Paralympic athletics competitions. Riverbank Arena will host the Olympic hockey competition, as well as five-a-side and seven-a-side football during the Paralympic Games. Royal Artillery Barracks will host the Olympic shooting and Paralympic archery and shooting competitions. The Olympic and Paralympics track cycling competitions will be at the Velodrome. Wembley Arena will host badminton and rhythmic gymnastics. The waters off Weymouth and Portland will welcome the Olympic and Paralympic sailing competitions. And of course, Wimbledon will be twice as busy this summer, hosting not only the Olympic tennis competitions, but also the Wimbledon Championships from June 25th to July 8th. There are only 63 days left until the Olympic Games open. These are the games that will inspire a generation.